evening. Excuse me. Um, I just kind of want to touch down on a few things, right? And let me again start by saying to those that maybe don't know anything about why I initially said that I wanted to do this channel. I never decided to do a channel because I was trying to be Insta famous or YouTube famous, etc. I only made this channel because there are some things that I want to say, but when it's somebody else's post, somebody else's page rather, I don't want to leave, 3 or 4 page posts on that person's channel. Because number one, either no one's going to probably read it at all, or, and I hate to say this to you guys, but my dad always told me the worst thing, or actually the best thing that, the best way that you can keep us minorities from knowing anything is to put it in writing. I'll let that one sink in again. The best way to keep a minority in the dark is to put it in writing. However, now I'm moving on because I'm those that caught that and understood it. Great. If you didn't, then you got a lot more work to do. There's just a couple of things I just wanted to touch on. I'm not gonna be long. Like I said, I just talk about the stuff that I think we need to look at as a people. So I'm calling this video the breakdown, and I took notes. So pardon me if you see me glancing to the side or anything like that, but I took notes so that I knew I was covering what it is I wanted to cover. So the first thing I have is the Oscars and Kevin Hart. The only reason I included that into this particular video is because I made a video, actually two, but the first video was like R. Kelly / Kevin Hart rant. And then it was, I think, one after that called I Told Y'all. The reason I put that in there is because in those particular two videos, I stated that once the Oscars realize, or whoever's involved with getting this stuff together for the Oscars realize that, shit, we don't need no host. So by us not needing a host, that means we ain't got to cater or kiss nobody ass. We can do this shit the way the fuck we want to do it. And I even stated it back then that when Kevin basically told Oscars to kiss his ass, the powers that be tried to shake his ass up. That's where the accident came from. But I also stated that they realized, well, shit, they ain't even having anybody come and be a host. The hell with it. So we see that's happening now. And that's the only reason that I put that in there. And I know if you go back and look at those particular videos, you'll hear me say something along the lines of, because I've seen it before. What I mean by because I've seen it before is that history always has a way of repeating itself. And all you have to do is just take it in. Listen. If you stop what you're doing and not looking at your phone while the news is on, but actually watch the news. Because one thing I can say about the news is yeah, they make it out to be, oh, this is what's happening right now. No, it's not. The news can only report what they want us to know. I don't understand what part of that people don't get. When you're in a position of being a newscaster, to keep down what they might deem as mass hysteria, they're not going to say Ebola's on the outbreak, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's going to be like the purge for real. So they have a way of sugarcoating things. But my agenda has always been, thanks to my father, because he worked for the government. But my agenda has always been that whatever the news say, it's the opposite. Like straight up. I don't need no evidence for that. I don't. Because the news is not going to tell you, if you think for a second the news is going to actually say so-and-so admitted to shooting that plane down today and it was premeditated. And no, we find that out way down the line. If we find it out. And even if we do find it out, guaranteed that whole way down the line I just said is because they have taken measures to cover their ass in that specific time or for that specific time, or to try to explain away the reason this incident happened in the first place. So I'm just saying, I mean, okay, you know, whatever. Number 2 on our list was the royal family. Hey, look, yo, I remember exactly where I was when I heard about Princess Diana. I was in my freshman year of college, all that. Like, I remember that being such a big thing. Like, I sat and watched the whole thing unfold because it was on like every channel. You couldn't avoid it if you wanted to. It was even on cable. So everybody, was showing the live videos and showing the car and talking about what they think happened and all that. And the only reason I bring that up is because, again, unless you're brick dumb, we already know that Princess Diana was murdered. She was ready to leave, and they was like, fuck that. And Diana was like, nah, how about fuck y'all? Because now I got a new boyfriend and I'm pregnant by him. So suck my dick. And I still got full reign, or as much reign over these children as they father do. So I say all that to say that the Royals play dirty. They play dirty. They play dirty like a dog with fucking rabies. Because their bloodline is so entwined, ancestrally entwined into each other, that they would have to be crazy. Like, let's look at that at a whole nother standpoint. You'd have to be crazy to think that to keep your bloodline pure, if I sleep with my goddamn uncle, that's going to help the situation. When in actuality, it can make the situation worse, because I might come out being so fucked up that, what, now I got to die? Or all of a sudden, the mother miscarried the baby? Because I'm quite sure they're not going to accept a baby that has genetic problems. I'm just saying. Again, I'm just going on about what I have seen in my lifetime. And I actually fear for Kate, even Harry, definitely the baby. Okay? Whether there's a bloodline or not, this situation is going deeper than what we really think. I hate to say it this way, but when they announced, now, when they were only talking about Meghan and Harry dating and things like that, not a big deal, right? Because he can date whoever he wants to. It's no guarantee that this might actually become something else. But as they seem to get more serious, to me, and I'm sure of a lot of other people, and then when they eventually got married, I said to myself then, oh my God, this is gonna be a fucking problem. Nobody wants to sit and think that racism plays out that way. But unfortunately, it does. It may not be as out and out blatant as, like, back in the day with signs posted and things like that. But it still exists. And you can't tell me that a royal bloodline that has been so gung-ho on keeping their line pure according to them is going to now accept a baby that is black. Not maybe fully, but if the royals had their say, look, one drop of blood, that's it. Like, what the hell? Because now what I'm looking for to happen is either they'll threaten Harry financially, or some kind of way to get him to leave Meghan. And of course, that'll leave the baby and her out back, and then there'll be probably a lot of court proceedings and this, that, and the third. But if Harry chooses to stay, that's an even worse situation, because I really feel like at that point, we are now looking at a fatal accident, or, the baby was kidnapped. I'm telling you, you can't just walk away from people with that amount of clout. And we're not talking about somebody that blew up 5 years ago, and people respect that person and be like, nah, that person will do. We're talking about hundreds of years of tradition and having and making things work the way they fucking want them to work. This is a very dangerous situation to put themselves in, and especially that baby. We talking about the royals here. I'm just saying, give that a little bit of thought, because I'm just saying, when I heard they wanted to step away, and you gotta look at it like this too. How you gonna say, well, I don't want to be in the family anymore, but I'm still use the family's money? Unless whoever you are watching this is motherfucking brick dumb, that's not gonna work. You mean to tell me that you done basically told me, fuck the family, we want to be on our own, we want to do all these different things, but keep sending me them checks every month? That's not gonna happen. And then it's not just look, put it this way, it's a lot of shit going on in the fucking royal family. It's not really one particular reason that you can say that all this is happening. It's several. Because I don't know if you caught like a little bit of Prince William, Harry's brother's interview, or the clip that they decided to show us, where William says he's basically tired of having to pat his brother on the back, like he's done. What do that mean? What you mean you done like hugging your brother up? I mean, because that could be taken a lot of ways. Are you done hugging him up because he's in your way, or because you feel like he's not important because you're the next in line to be king, so fuck Harry? Or is it that Harry feels a certain way about how y'all mother died, and you don't like what he's saying about that? I mean, it's just a whole lot of things. It's just really a whole lot of things, and that's something that we just gonna keep our eye on, because I'm telling you, if this shit doesn't get like settled, something's gonna happen to one or two or all three of them. Meghan, Harry, or little Archie. I'm just saying, and I'm not wishing it. I'm just saying, because we know how this goes. History repeats itself. I mean, that's all I got to say about that. And so what else did I write down here? Oh yeah, the fentanyl opioid shit that's going on. First of all, because I don't have any problem saying it, I'm a recovering addict. I have 2 years clean at this moment. But before I relapsed the last time, I had 8 years clean. Okay? What I'm saying to say about this fentanyl is that you have to realize fentanyl is more regulated by doctors than heroin. Doctors don't make heroin. Or I mean, not make heroin. Scientists make heroin, but I'm saying doctors don't prescribe you heroin. They just don't. I mean, none that I know about. But you can be prescribed fentanyl, and you can be prescribed Oxycontin, hydrocodone, all that, right? So that right there should be a red flag. Like, how these two drugs that purposely have the same effects, one is legal and one is illegal. And that being said, the drug that's now supposedly, or was the legal drug, is the one that's taking out everybody. You don't think it's no And yeah, we've had heroin overdoses, yeah, thousands upon thousands, but it hasn't been as critical as when fentanyl rolled up on the set. And I'm telling you, from my point of view and my opinion, that being that fentanyl, it doesn't take much fentanyl, and a lot of times the fentanyl isn't regulated unless it's coming from a doctor, which is a whole nother story. But it takes so little fentanyl to actually hurt somebody, whether hopefully they just pass out or worse, they might die. But we need to read in between that. I'm going to tell y'all some shit, right? Let's put it this way. Fentanyl is being put on the street, right? It's cheap for the drug dealers to get, and you don't need but a little bit of it to mix with whatever it is that you're trying to mix it with, because it's not just being mixed with heroin, people. It's being mixed with crack or coke. It's being mixed even with weed. So now, and when you use it, mix it with weed, um, that's mostly when it's like a liquid form, like that sticky. You know what I'm saying. Um, but at the same time, let's look at it like this. Let's say you're a junkie and you your family, you don't really deal with your family like most people don't once you've been cast out, or they casted you out, or you casted your own self out. You haven't seen your family in a minute. You on the street living from pillar to post. You, of course, don't have documentation or ID, probably not a permanent address and all that, okay? Now, you go and you get you a bag of what you think might be dope, or heroin. Or you might be one of the people that prefer the fentanyl, and that's what you do. Either way, excuse me, y'all. Either way you look at it, you go ahead and you do said substance, and you fall out, and somebody happens to see you, and um, or might be have been around you, and they go ahead and they call the ambulance and everything, this, that, and the third. Now, I'm quite sure that for the most part, whatever you had on you, whoever was around you could have extracted that from your person or your purse. So that's bad with that, just in number one, because now how is anybody going to identify you if all the people that was around you when this happened say, oh, I didn't know her like that. I only knew her by, which usually probably be a street name. Or you might have the actual ambulance EMT people that might be working for such facilities as this, which I'm about to get to, that may realize you have an ID on you or whatever the case may be. Okay, that's removed. Your ID is now removed, and you go to the hospital for a suspected drug overdose, and either they'll hit you with the Narcan or not. It's not even going to matter, because once you are in a situation like that where nobody knows where you are because you've been out in the street, and people are like, well, fuck it, she'll come back home when she get ready. Okay, so they're not looking for you. Now your family's not looking for you because they think that you just out in the street doing what you do. So now you up in this hospital, you don't have no ID, you don't have shit. What do you really think can happen at that point? Because once you're in the presence of people like that, all they got to do is motherfucking intentionally give you an overdose of fentanyl or morphine, anything. And then they say they found you like that, and we can't locate that person's next to kin. So now your body becomes a ward of the state. And by the time somebody realizes, hold on, she's been missing for like 2 weeks. I know she was out in the street, but she usually called me at least once a week. It's too late then, because now 2 weeks have passed, and No hospital is going to let your body just sit there for 2 weeks. So what they're going to do is remove all of your pertinent organs, and you'll be cremated, and by the time your family realizes what's going on, it's done and over, and there's nothing left for your family to even try to investigate, because the body itself has already been gone. And I know there's some people out there like, what the hell? And people don't, the doctors don't use organs from drug addicts. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. There are drugs now that I could be, all of my internal organs on my body right now could be so saturated with alcohol, drugs, and or both. But if I had a particular match for both of my kidneys and my liver, that's 3 people's lives I'm saving that's on the donor list. Do you really think that there is not, just the same way you get the effect from the drug itself, you don't think there's an adverse effect? Just like if you do too much opioid, and if you succumb to the opioids, don't they hit you with a narco pen? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's ways to look at stuff. And that's really all I'm trying to do here, because I watch the news faithfully, especially the world news. I mean, the local news, yeah, that's cool and everything, but that's only showing what's going on primarily in the area that you at. The world news is just that shit that's going on in the world. I dropped my list. All right, and I might actually have to make this like a part 2 video, because I'm already at like 20 minutes. One more thing that I did want to talk about that really happened recently, like yesterday or the day before yesterday, how up in Los Angeles, you see they sprayed them kids with the jet fuel. The only reason I'm looking like that is because if you think about all of what I just said, just about the 3 or 4 topics that I just was talking about right here, do you really think that that was not done intentionally? Okay, so you say, no, Marie 722, that wasn't done intentionally. The plane was about to crash, and that's what they normally do. They let the extra fuel out so that the plane won't become heavy in case it goes into a nosedive spiral. Okay, if that's what makes you sleep at night. But let's check this out, though. The said plane, was already at a dangerous altitude level, or too close almost to the earth, before they even said anything about the plane malfunctioning, and didn't say anything about that they was going to be dropping fuel. You can look that up. The FAA, the Federal Aircraft Administration, something like that, they said they ain't know shit about it, because they wouldn't authorize it and didn't authorize it. So who the hell, we need to be thinking about who the fuck is this pilot, and who is he working for? Because now, if you have literally the FAA saying, we didn't get no report that the plane was in trouble, and they had to drop fuel, and so who did it and what the fuck for? Because now, to me, being the person I am that looks into things like this shit is intentional to me. It's intentional. Because what are you planning on doing with all these kids? Let's suppose that this fuel was spread over like a motherfucking mile radius. What are you going to do with all the people that may be affected physically and in the hospitals when they get there? Or what's your plan once they get there? I'm just saying, you don't think it's kind of convenient that this happened to happen right over top of a playground where the kids at? Because for all we know, yeah, right now, everybody might be all right now. But let's look and see what happens in 2 weeks or 2 months down the road when the family start popping out saying their child died from exposure of whatever chemical, and that he's suing the airplane company. I'm just saying. Or because this has happened too. Again, all you gotta do is look it up. They tell the parents that the baby is like beyond help. Baby's not gonna make it. And put the baby on the the oxygen or the life machine, and the whole time the baby's not dead. This might be out because of whatever they gave them. So mom, pull the plug. Your baby's not gonna come back from this. So the mother pulls the plug, and the whole time it won't shit wrong with the baby. They needed that body so that it couldn't be autopsy, wouldn't be autopsy, and couldn't be found or replaced with another child. Hey, look, it's a lot of shit going on. I don't know if y'all heard the case of the young lady Shimei, and shout out to New Nations Unity, which is run by Shimei's mother. Similar situation happened with that case. They wanted to say, or the report says that this young lady, Shimei, was under the influence of whatever kind of drug. Her sister was home with her at the time, as well as Shimei's boyfriend, at the time when she kind of succumbed to alleged or potential overdose. However, yeah, that might not sound like a big thing, what I just said. You say, oh, damn, that's messed up. Damn. No, it's even worse than that. By the time the mother and more family members get to the hospital, they already know just from looking at her that she's been dead for a minute. They had this child hooked up to life support equipment, and she was already dead and or showing signs of being dead. They heard that, that death rattle cough. Her skin was starting to have slippage. Her eyes were leaking. Hey, look, like I said, New Nations Unity. Look that channel up. Her mother is literally going through it right now. She can't get any lawyer to take the case because the lawyers are either scared or say, well, I don't want to get involved, that's too much, or lady, you crazy. Whatever the reason is that this lady is struggling to deal with this stuff by herself after losing her daughter, which, by the way, had a baby at that time. So now her mother is raising this same child while trying to grieve for her own. Like, that's a serious situation, and that lady is very strong. And like I said, go back and look at that. Mother's channel, YouTube channel, is New Nations Unity, and that is Shimei's mother's channel. And also, then shout out to Truth for Reality. He's another one that takes a lot of cases, and especially cases that we wouldn't, be too inclined to maybe look at a second time. And this was one of the cases that he doesn't even make long videos, okay? And when he made this particular video about this young lady, Shimei, it was like 30 minutes long. So I already see that there is something that struck him as odd or not right for him to delve into this particular case more so than any of his others, to the fact that it bothered this man so much that he reached out to Shimei's mother and now is using his platform plus her platform to get the message out about what's going on behind the scenes of these doctors and hospitals and churches and hotels. I just don't know. Like I said, I have a couple other things that I had on this list to talk about, but I don't want to make this a long video. I'm at 30 minutes. All I want to say is just, people, please watch the news. I'm not saying watch the news because you supposed to believe what they say. I'm saying watch the news so you can have processed in your own mind what is really going on versus what somebody's telling you what's really going on. Because I don't trust anybody from any news channel reporting anything to me, because you're not going to tell it in depth the way it should be told. I mean, facts are going to be left out. No. So I don't do the news. I do the world news, and I still treat that as the same as watching any other news. I always go and I do my research and use mainly my common sense and logic to figure out what is it that they're telling us in between the lines. You have to read in between the lines. Like, period. Like I told you, my dad said that you have to take what's shown on the news and figure out what's going on from that, because they're not giving you a straight story on the news. And now that I've, gotten older and I see that, we're told what the hell somebody wanted them to say, or the executive producer of the news station or the owner of the news station is telling them what to say, so I can form my own opinion. I don't need you telling me shit through the TV. I don't know. But anyway, all right. Good night, peeps and peepettes. I just wanted to put like the first half out there. I figured this was gonna be long, but anyway, thank you for tuning in. Think about some of the things I said. Start a conversation about it, people. Have a good night. Peace.